Welcome back to 405 Sports. Today we are talking about UFC 286, and what a card this was. This card was phenomenal. It turned out a lot better than I thought, and I think a lot of fans would agree with that. But we'll get right into it. Leon Edwards defeats Kamaru Usman via unanimous decision, and what a fight it was. I thought Usman should have grappled more, but at the same time, Leon was stuffing those takedowns. Usman was 4-15, so it's very tough to say that whenever, Usman was having a tough time taking him down, but at the same time, Leon was getting up when he did take him down. So it was a very tough fight. Leon won on 2 cards, and then another card had it tied because of the fence grab point taken away. Wild. I don't really know what's next for Usman. It's kind of tough because apparently we're going to get Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Bilal Muhammad, and then Colby's next for the title. And it's like, what do you do? And I think for Usman, I don't know, because you don't know about Hamzat. Hamzat apparently wants to fight Marvin Vettori. I mean, Hamzat is definitely a 185er. Let's be honest. Hamzat, he missed weight by 8 pounds. That's nothing that a guy does, a day up until weigh-ins, So he definitely, I don't know. Maybe he could have done it, and maybe Dana's going to give him another shot, but I really think that Hamzat's moving up, so that makes it tough. And, Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal is about to go down, but if Jorge were to win that fight, I don't see Jorge beating Usman, regardless of how Usman looked in this fight. So it's very tough in the welterweight division to book people. I do think Bilal Muhammad is kind of getting hoed a little bit, just because he's now gonna have to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. But at the same time, he needs to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. Sean Brady is not really that impressive of a win in my opinion. I know he's undefeated, but he's not that great of a striker. And he's very young in the game. So I think if Bilal gets a win over Shavkat, then obviously whoever wins that fight is next after the Colby-Leon fight. And welterweight's full of dogs. I don't really know what's next for Usman. I kind of thought he was going to retire regardless of win or loss. But especially loss. I thought if he was going to lose, I thought he would retire. But we move on. Leon Edwards is the champ. He's looking to fight Colby, or he's not, but Colby's looking to fight him. Dana says Colby's next, so we'll see. Leon said that he wants to kind of pick, but who knows. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. What a fight this is. The only problem I have with this fight is it's 3 rounds. It's 3 rounds. I mean, what does that prove to anyone? Justin Gaethje was in a 3-round fight with Michael Chandler and then lost pretty not easy to Charles Oliveira, but I mean he lost. He got tapped out in the first round, So I don't like these fights like these where it's 3 rounds, because it's when they get into those championship rounds, that's when it matters. Look at the main event. You got to make this 5 rounds. You just have to. I'm sorry. I don't think it proves that much whenever you have these guys who are arguably about to fight for a title, and I just don't think it proves as much. But shout out Justin Gaethje, shout out Rafael. They're dogs. It was very close. Definitely Gaethje win, but very close. And even though, Rafael looked like he was, if you looked at one another, you'd have said, oh, Gaethje won 30-27. But no, it was 29-28 Gaethje. Very close, though. For Rafael, his next fight, probably a Jalen Turner, Mateusz Gamrot. I was going to say Arman Tsarukyan, but Tsarukyan's fighting Rinto Moicano. That's who. Arman's fighting next, so that's not going to happen. But Jalen Turner, Mateusz Gamrot, someone like that. Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier is what needs to happen next. Those 2 guys can fight. The only problem is the timeline's messed up, because there's no way that they're going to do that fight before 294 and then have Islam fight on 2. You know what I mean? I don't think Islam's going to get on 294 in Abu Dhabi, just because I don't feel as if there's a true lightweight contender that's going to be ready by 294. So I don't think Justin Gaethje's taking the fight until after 294. So it's tough. I don't know. We'll see. Shout out to these guys. It was a war. It was a great fight. Everyone enjoyed that fight. It was amazing. Gunnar Nelson is back. He's a staple of the 170 division. He's just the guy that you don't want to see, because his striking isn't the best, but he has that karate / Conor McGregor kind of style of striking that he doesn't really connect that much. But once he gets you to the ground, it's It's scary. And Brian Barberina, shout out to you for taking this on short notice. But shout out Gunnar Nelson. Great performance by him. For this fight, Casey O'Neill versus Jennifer Maia, I feel like Casey O'Neill just came back a little too quick, you know. Props to her. I mean, she's an absolute warrior for even taking this fight. I mean, it's been like 9 months since she tore her ACL. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. Something like that. Maybe longer, but still, when you tear your ACL, I mean, you're basically down a whole year. So, I don't know how she took this fight. I really don't. But for her, it just seemed like she came back too quick to the fighting game. That's plain and simple. And Jennifer Maia is just kind of like a staple of, you know, women's UFC / MMA. She's been around for a long time, and she's very good for a reason. So, that's all I thought, is that Casey O'Neill, because I feel like Casey O'Neill is very good. She's a very touted prospect, and I just feel like she might have came back too soon. And that's plain and simple. Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. Now, Khamzat Chimaev called out Marvin Vettori after this fight and said, "You're next." So this is why I think Khamzat's moving up to middleweight. But Marvin, I don't know. This fight was very close. I kind of thought that Roman won, but I saw why Marvin won. I just felt that I thought Roman won the first 2 rounds. 30-27 is ridiculous. I don't know how Marvin got a scorecard of that. That is insane. He was getting beat on the feet bad in the first round. I mean, the first round, quite literally, if he didn't have his chin, he'd have been knocked down, and it would have been a 10-8 Roman. But Marvin Vettori just has that. He's got an insane chin on him, and it doesn't make sense. His next fight has to be Khamzat. I think that makes sense. Maybe a Jared Cannonier. He's not going to fight Sean Strickland. They're friends. So that's my opinion. Give him Khamzat. It'll be a good fight. He's got a great chin. You know, Khamzat's got great wrestling. He's got great wrestling. We just got to see Khamzat up at 185. Jack Shore gets back into the win column at featherweight this time instead of bantamweight. He's now a featherweight contender. First round was not looking very good. It was looking like he was going to be it was going to be complicated, and then he comes out in that second round and he beats him legitimately everywhere. I mean, he beats him on the feet, he beats him on the ground. He gets a submission attempt, then he finally gets a submission in. Very, very good performance by Jack Shore. He gets behind that England crowd, and they love him. His next fight, I don't know if it's a ranked featherweight, maybe like a older guy just to give him another fight at featherweight, kind of like a Darren Elkins maybe. I don't know, someone like that. Someone, maybe Cub Swanson if he wanted to come back up to featherweight, because I know he's at bantamweight now, and I don't know that. Someone like that. Chris Duncan versus Omar Morales. Only thing I'm scared about for Chris Duncan is that his boxing just gets a little too crazy, and Omar was landing some big shots on him, and it's a little scary, but his grappling is a lot better than I thought. Shout out to Chris Duncan for the decision win. What a UFC debut for Yanel Asmoyez. I think that's how you said it. Sam Patterson was, I mean, that was bad. That was bad. He was still fighting after it was over. I mean, he was pushing the ref back and everything. What a debut, by the way. Muhammad Makayev, Jeff Filo. I said, don't be surprised if Filo brings the fight, and he did. And I know he lost by submission, but that's kind of how Makayev rolls. He likes to just dominate you for the 2.5 rounds, and then at the end of the third, just finish the fight. So, I don't know what's next for him. I feel like a big jump in the flyweight division. I feel like that's what's due for him, but who knows. I'm excited. This guy's very, very good for the flyweight division. All right, guys, so that was UFC 286. Our next pay-per-view is UFC 287, Izzy versus Pereira 2/4. But UFC 286 was a great night, and it was a great card. Thank you for watching the video.